Clinical psychologist Dr. Danielle Einstein is one of the architects of the ban, instrumental in getting it across the line. Dr. Einstein, can we really go back?
Well, we're going to see, but I think it's important that we understand why we're going back and that we all get behind the changes that are coming in.
As you just heard, most of the kids aren't happy that it's going to happen, but they still think it's a good idea. Did that surprise you?
Not really, because when you think about what's been happening, I think our mental health has been slowly being undermined. And first of all, you can think about social media as being a little bit of a cognitive cocaine, like the kids are at a party all the time. But on the other hand, what we've got is kids almost finding a false friend. So they feel okay when they're connected, but actually then when they're not connected, they're not feeling so great about themselves or about their lives because they're losing the skills.
Interestingly, most of them talked about how they're going to try and find a way around the ban, about using their parents' ID or changing the language they use online. Is that something that's going to work?
Well, Ali, I think the most important thing to understand is what this age delay, and let's call it an age delay, is, and that is it's actually stopping kids have accounts, which means that they can't post online. So the biggest change is not whether they can watch material that's addictive or be gaming or doing other things. They can still do some parts of social media. What they can't do is post. And what we've seen happen is that young people feel as though they're only as good as the metrics on their latest post. So it's undermining the way people are feeling about themselves.
But I felt there was a bit of the focus from the kids there about looking at, rather than looking at, okay, they're getting ready for what life is going to be like without social media, it was more that they were looking at alternatives and what they can do to get around it.
Yeah, because I think, I think the change is that they can't post. They can't post their latest dance competition. They can't post their opinions or their comments in a way that's going to be commented on by other people in their peer group. That's what the change is going to look like, which also means that there's going to be less bullying, because bullying is also related to being in a big group and someone being jealous of you, which is what happens at this time of life, when kids are trying to do well, but they're not doing so well and they just get a little bit jealous. Yeah. So when we actually think about the changes that are coming in, it's about kids having accounts and defining themselves according to the size of their audience.
And if we look at why that ban is needed, like you just heard there from Evie and Zach, so 11 and 15, that they saw the uncensored assassination of Charlie Kirk online accidentally. I mean, what does that do to a young mind?
It has a lot of different effects. So a child might feel afraid, they might get a shock, they might be thinking about it a lot later. It depends a little bit on whether they've got a history of some sort of anxiety or trauma in their past, that they might react in a range of different ways, but it has an effect in the short term on everyone that sort of watches it.
So what are some of the things, I mean, we're about to come up to the school holidays, and that is the longest time away from school, right as we've introduced this ban. What are some of the things that might help kids, and what are some advice perhaps for parents to help wean kids off social media?
Well, the first thing is to recognise, I think, the fact that there are still lots of addictive uses of our digital media. So what I recommend is that you get whatever it is, whether it's Roblox or whatever a child is still doing, onto one device which they use in one place in their house. And that shouldn't be in the bedroom, okay? Because that actually helps you have the intention to go to the device, to look at what's going on. Okay, I think I'll just have a bit of a play on Roblox now, or chat with my friends or socialise. But instead of being in their bedroom and that being the only way that a child has to calm themselves and to entertain themselves, they actually can make the intention to go there. And I think that parents need to not be looking over kids' shoulders as they're doing that. It's really important for us to support the fact that this ban is coming in, and what this has done is actually put the regulation on the school systems, the systems around them, whether it be the school or the platforms.
Yeah. Look, I mean, I think we've got to accept, though, this is going to be really hard, though, for the kids who've already had it and have had it for a couple of years to all of a sudden take it away from them. That's a tricky transition.
But they know that it's not helpful for them. They know it's impacting their brain.
I think they know all of that.
Yeah.
Like, we also know that, you know, you shouldn't touch something hot, but, you know, I mean, yes, we don't. But, like, we know as adults what's right or wrong, but it doesn't mean we always do the right thing.
True, true. And that's where we've got to recognise what addiction is and the fact that that many kids, in fact, are addicted to it, and the really harmful effects it has on the individual child, on their brain, on their ability to handle their emotions, like calm themselves down, their interest in doing things just for the sake of doing it. I'm going to learn a skateboard trick because I enjoy it, not because of how much attention it's going to get me.
Yeah. Well, look, as I say, it's going to be a big change for everybody. Can I also say, too, that we just saw Malaysia today announce that they're going to be banning for under-16s. That is huge. Let's hope it works, because if it does, it'll be great for the kids. And thank you so much for joining us tonight. Thank you.
Thanks, Ali.
Well,